In the 1800s, if you controlled the railroads, you controlled the free world. Hi everyone, Ken here. Welcome to This House. Today we are exploring the home of Leland Stanford, one of the big four railroad tycoons. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. This video was brought to you in part by Blinkist. More about them later in the video. In 1852, Leland Stanford moved to California during the heat of the gold rush with his wife Jane after losing his successful law practice to a devastating fire. He teamed up with his brothers to open a small general store, but he had greater ambitions. Leland and Jane bought a house in Sacramento where they invested their life savings, teaming up with the wealthy industrialists to lay out plans for the Central Pacific Railroad. Together they called themselves the Associates, but would become better known by the media as the Big Four. He ran for governor of California and won. This gave him the ability to issue land grants and utilize tax money for his business ventures. Over the next few decades, he would see his net worth grow to $50 million, the modern-day equivalent of about $1.6 billion. With so much money now being pocketed, Leland and Jane began extensive renovations on their home, which was prone to flooding. Famously, when Leland was elected governor, he had to take a rowboat to his inauguration because his house had been flooded. The couple loved their house, so they had it lifted up 12 feet, building a new first floor to support the house. They then sandwiched the original house under a new fourth floor concealed by a mansard roof to update the style of the home from Italian Renaissance revival to the popular Second Empire style. Before we head inside, a quick word about the sponsor of today's video, Blinkist. With a busy life, it can be hard to find time to read and learn. Blinkist enables you to listen to short, 15-minute long condensed audiobooks with over 5,500 nonfiction titles available. They break the books down into blinks, which are the most essential portions of the books, and string them together in easy-to-understand, easy-to-digest information, which you can listen to or read. For example, if you wanted to learn more about the topic of art history, you could listen to Blinkist audiobook Picasso's War by Hugh Eakin, and learn about the unique challenges that faced early modern artists in America as the modern art movement clashed with traditional schools of thought. What I love about Blinkist is that this is a quick and fun way to learn about the fundamental ideas that helped mold our world into what it is today. I'm putting up a promotional link for you on the screen, in the video description, and as a pinned comment. Click the link to start your 7-day free trial and get 25% off a premium membership. You can also take advantage of Blinkist Connect to create an additional account to share with friends or family for no extra charge. Thank you Blinkist for sponsoring today's video. Now, back to our story. Entering the garden gates and arriving at the top of the stairs, you would pass over the vestibule's mosaic tile floor to enter the stair hall and begin exploring the 19,000 square foot mansion. The dining room stretched above floral carpets, a display of wealth in the Victorian era, with 3 chandeliers subsequently suspended from plaster medallions. The west parlor connected to the dining room contained niches housing statues, sure to impress any guest. The double parlor continued with these design motifs, introducing crystal chandeliers to illuminate the Stanford's art collection. The Stanfords added a ballroom where they could entertain 100 or more people at a time. The house continued with heavy fabrics covering the windows and dark wooden furniture paired with antiques and art throughout. The couple only had one child, Leland Stanford Jr., who died from typhoid fever when he was only 15 years old. After their devastating loss, Leland and Jane turned their grief into philanthropy, founding the Leland Stanford Jr. University, commonly known as Stanford University, even writing in their wills to leave the entirety of their joint estate to the university. They broke ground, building the university on the site of their equestrian estate in Palo Alto. By 1891, Leland and Jane had donated the modern-day equivalent of $1.2 billion to get the school off the ground. Leland passed away just 2 years later from heart failure. With no family left and a net worth valued at the modern-day equivalent of about $500 million, Jane devoted herself to running the university. While she sat on the board, she constantly butted heads with the school's president, David Starr Jordan, who would play out to be a suspicious character in Jane's demise. Jane was poisoned once at her home in San Francisco. She was so shaken up by the events that she abandoned that home and moved to another, where she was poisoned again, this time fatally. When doctors analyzed her body, they found she had been poisoned, but David Jordan hired his own doctor to contest their findings, claiming it was simply a natural case of heart failure, just like her late husband. David began sending letters to the university's board of trustees offering numerous explanations for Jane's death. It was later revealed that Jane had been collaborating with other members of the board to oust David from his position at the university. But this information was unknown to investigators, who failed to establish a motive at the time, leaving David to face no charges nor formal allegations during his lifetime. Just as Jane's will stipulated, the remaining portion of her fortune, worth the modern-day equivalent of about $500 million, went to the university, largely being spent at the discretion of the university's president, David Starr Jordan. Thankfully, Jane had donated the Leland Stanford mansion in Sacramento a few years earlier to be used by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Sacramento. In the late 1970s, the mansion was conveyed to the state of California, which designated it a California state park with full historic protections. In the 1990s and early 2000s, extensive restoration efforts were put into the mansion to restore its rooms to how they once appeared, based on photos, many of which we saw in this video, which had been captured in 1872. Since the completion of the bulk of the restoration work, the Leland Stanford mansion has been open to the public for tours and occasionally serves as a meeting place for government functions. If you have ever visited, I would love to hear about your experience down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House. I would also like to take a moment to say a very special thank you to our This House supporters whose names you can see on screen right now. If you would like to see your name on the screen and show the world your support for the production of these videos, join our membership program today. I'll see you next time on This House.